Good morning. This is Professor Ardetto, and we're going to be talking about homework number 9 today. Homework 9 is more factoring problems. You're going to see a set of 30 problems. And specifically, what's different about homework 9 is we're going to be factoring trinomials. Okay, homework 8, we talked about that yesterday in Zoom. And if you saw the mini video for homework number 8, we were factoring by grouping. We're going to still factor by grouping today, but we're not going to factor by grouping on these trinomials that are in this form. Basically, there's going to be a squared term. There's not going to be a number in front of that squared term. It's going to be like x squared, u squared, z squared, y squared. And then it'll have some variable in the middle. And then they'll end up with a constant. Okay, and I think I told you a couple days ago that factoring is the opposite of the distributive property. When we pull out a greatest common factor, we're still going to want to look for a greatest common factor first. They're going to remind you in the problem to look for a greatest common factor first. But let's back up to operations with polynomials we talked about on Monday, right? If we took x plus 2, right, and we multiplied by x plus 3, okay, and remember I did the box. This is on Monday. This is a couple days ago. Homework number, I think it was homework number 7 mini video, or Monday's Zoom lecture. I put x plus 2 up here. I put x plus 3 down here. Okay, this is not factoring. This is multiplying. Okay, this is multiplying. This is x squared. This is 2x. This is 3x. And this is 6, right? So our answer when we multiply x plus 2 times x plus 3 is x squared plus 5x plus 6. The 5x comes from adding these two boxes together. Okay, so now remember, factoring is starting here and ending up here. So let's take a look at this problem here. This is problem number 1. You'll get one similar. U squared minus 7u plus 12. And let's just think about it as the box here, right? Here's the box. Okay, u squared is what would go in here. So I'm filling in the inside of the boxes first. 12 goes right here. Okay, and now let's think about this for a second. What do we put here, that dot and that dot? What do we put where I put those two dots in order to get u squared? What two variables multiply to get u squared? That shouldn't take you too long. U times u, right? There's only two variables that multiply to get u squared, u and itself. So we know the factored form here. The factored form is going to start with the letter u. So we're going to have u there, and we're going to have u there. If that was a y squared, then it'd be y and y. If that was an x squared, that would be x and x. Whatever variable it is, we have that variable times itself. Okay, now the tricky part is the number 12 has a few different factors, right? The number that you put here, let me change colors, the blue dot, the number you put there and the number you put there have to multiply to get 12. Well, there's a lot of numbers that multiply to get 12. There's 1 times 12. There's 2 times 6. There's 3 times 4. Which one is it? Which pair of numbers do we put? Well, it depends on this number here. Whatever numbers we put here in this blue dot and this blue dot, okay, These boxes here have to add up to a -7. So let's look over here. What numbers could we add up to make a -7 and also leave it to be multiplied by 12? And if you're looking at these two numbers, 3 and 4, they multiply to get 12. However, they add to get +7. So how do we still make it multiply to get +12, but add to get -7? Let me show you a little diamond that we're going to be talking about later. Okay, I'm going to draw an X, and I'm going to put a 12 up here, and I'm going to put a -7 down here. Okay, the 12 is this number here, and the -7 is the number in the middle. So what two numbers multiply to get 12 and add to get -7? -3 and -4. -3 and -4 multiply to get a +12, because we know negative times a negative is a positive, and -3 plus -4 gives you -7. So these are the two factors, -3 and -4. And if you wanted to multiply using the box method, you could put in -3 here and -4 here, and this would be -3u. This is just a check to see if you got it right. This would be a -4u, and you would add those two together and you get -7. And that's what you would type in the box. I think when you click the box, it's going to, let's see, it gives you, let me clear the screen here. It gives you, okay, we talked about the exponent key, and then it gives you this word called prime. You're only going to select prime if you cannot factor it, if it's unfactorable. Let me tell you a secret. There's not many of those. Okay, so you're not going to select prime that much. Okay, so let's talk about another one. Number 5. Okay, z squared minus 3z minus 54. Okay, so there is no greatest common factor. Again, it says remember to look for a greatest common factor. There is none. Nothing's common to all three terms, but it does start with a z squared, so I know this is going to be a z, and this is going to be a z. I do cross my z's, because if I don't, they look like my 2's. Okay, so these numbers here, whatever number you put here and here, they have to multiply to get -54, and they have to add to get -3. So I'm not going to draw the box. I'm just going to draw something called a diamond. Okay, this is a diamond. It's just a big X. On the top of the diamond, I put -54. And on the bottom of the diamond, I put -3. Now, this is going to test your guys' multiplication tables. Like if you know in the top of your head what numbers multiply to get 54. 54, if you don't know numbers that multiply to get 54, I suggest taking out a calculator and dividing it by numbers that you think maybe go into 54. But when I see 54, I think 9 times 6. I think 9 times 6. You might not think 9 times 6. I think 9 times 6 because I know 9 times 6 is 54. I have my times tables memorized. Again, everybody doesn't have their times tables memorized. Some people use a calculator. Feel free to use a calculator. But you have to come up with these two numbers. Now, why 9 and 6? Other numbers multiply to get 54 besides 9 and 6. But I chose 9 and 6 for a very specific reason. I know I can make, because I have to make them multiply to get a negative. In order to multiply to get a negative, one of these has to be a negative. I'm going to make the 9 a negative. I'm going to make the 9 a negative because I see a -3 down here. They have to add to get -3. These two numbers have to add to get -3. So -9 and a +6, they multiply to get -54, and they add to get -3. So I put -9 here. As soon as you find these numbers, you're basically done. You're done. You just got to transfer them up here. -9 and +6. Okay. If you multiplied this out using the box method, you would get this trinomial. Okay. Let's go over another one. Number 6. Okay. V squared plus 5v minus 24. Okay. So again, draw your set of parentheses. It's a v squared now because that's a v and that's a v. Okay. Then I do my diamond. I put -24 on the top. And I put 5 on the bottom. So numbers that multiply to get -24 and then add to get 5. 24, a lot of factors of 24, right? We got 1 times 24. We got 2 times 12. We got 3 times 8. Three times 8. 3 times 8. Well, I need to make a -24, so I'm going to make the 3 negative and 8 positive. -3 times 8 is -24. -3 plus 8 is 5. This number here is really, really important because that's going to determine which of these two numbers you choose. So -3 plus 8 is 5. So I'm going to put -3 and +8. Doesn't matter the order in which you put this, as long as the sign is the same. Like you could put +8 over here and -3 over here. Okay. Number 8. All right. 8, the signs are positive. All right. So these are maybe a little bit easier because there's no negative signs. So y squared, y and y. Diamond, 30 on the top, 13 on the bottom. Multiplies to get 30, adds to get 13. Multiplies to get 30, adds to get 13. And before too long, you guys should think of 10 and 3. 10 and 3 multiply to get 30. 10 and 3 add to get 13. Plus 10 plus 3. Check using FOIL or the box method if you'd like. I didn't really talk about FOIL too much. I just did the box method. But if you want to check your answer, you can check your answer. But once you get this done, this is basically all you're thinking that you really need to do. Okay, the answer is in that diamond right there. The answer is right here. Okay. All right, so the first eight problems look similar. What changes on number 12 is you see a number in front. That 5 is what I'm talking about. That changes. Okay, that's a game changer right there. Okay, we're not playing the same game anymore. Okay. Okay, number 9, no number in front. Number 10, no number in front. Number 11, no number in front. Number 12, number in front. All right, so this is why I talked about factoring by grouping yesterday. Is because I'm going to show you a method here that it involves factoring by grouping, and then I'm going to show you like a guess and check method. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 methods to solve this. So this is factoring by Let's see. Remember to look for a common factor first. There is no common factor. Okay. So what we do here is we notice that, first of all, notice that we have a number in front. And we're going to factor this using the diamond method. Okay, but I'm not going to put the last number on the top of the diamond. I'm going to take the first and I'm going to multiply by the last. So I'm going to multiply these two numbers together. 5 times negative 2. I'm going to put that number right here, negative 10. Okay, that's the first times the last. And then the middle number, 9, goes down here. Okay, so it's still the diamond. It's still the diamond, but it's not set up the same way as the diamond was on problems 1 through 11. Okay, but the rules of the diamond method is the same. These two numbers have to multiply to get negative 10, and they have to add to get 9. Multiply to get negative 10 and add to get 9. Well, 10 is 2 times 5, and 10 is also 1 times 10. So now if you have to multiply to get a negative 10, one of these numbers has to be a negative. And if I make this a negative 1 and a positive 10, they add to get a positive 9. So it's going to be negative 1 and positive 10. Negative 1 and positive 10. Okay. Now, how's that going to help me? Well, we're going to take this trinomial, 5r squared plus 9. And instead of putting 9r, I'm going to put negative 1r plus 10r minus 2. So I put these two numbers here in place of the 9r. I just added an r. So I made it look like a problem that we could factor by grouping. So now remember, factoring by grouping is you group them together. I'm going to group the first two and the last two together. So this is going to be, let's see, I'm going to take out an r. And I have a 5r minus 1. Okay. If you're confused with what I'm doing right now, go back and watch the mini video for homework number 8. And then I'm going to take out a 2, because a 2 is common to 10 and 2. And this is 5r minus 1. So remember, in order for factoring by grouping to work, these two have to be the same, which they are. These are the same. So then I can write it one time, 5r minus 1, and then r plus 2. Okay, and that's my answer there. 5r minus 1 times r plus 2 is the factored form of this. If I did the box method here, I would be able to get this exact trinomial. Okay, so that's called the diamond method. And it's making a trinomial into a 4 terms and then using factoring by grouping. Okay. The other way is just the other way to get the same answer. Some people like this way better. Is just kind of the guess and check method, and it goes with the box method that we talked about. So let me show you the same problem, and we're going to just do it using guessing and checking here. 5r squared goes in this box here. 5r squared And then -2 goes in this box here. I leave these two diagonal boxes blank. And then I just look at this first term and I take my best guess on what the numbers that are going to multiply to get 5r squared. Now, 5 is a prime number. So there's only two numbers that multiply to get 5. It's 1 and 5. So I need to have a 1 and a 5. And it doesn't really matter where I put it. I'll put the 1 up top and the 5 over here. But there has to be an r next to each of them because I have to get r squared. So r there and r there. Okay. Now, we need to take a guess on what numbers should be here and here. This is why it's called the guess and check method. These numbers here have to multiply to get a -2. They have to multiply to get a -2. Now, I know this is the answer, right? Because I've already done it. You're not going to know the answer before you're doing the problem, but I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little bit. I'm going to put +2 up here, and I'm going to put -1 down here. Okay. Now, you might not do that. You might put a -2 here and a +1 here. The way to check to see if you've done it correctly, because you're going to guess, right? It's called guess. It's called guess and check, right? Guess and check. Sometimes you guess right the first time. Sometimes you guess right the second time. How do we check? Well, we check by filling in the boxes. 2 times 5r is 10r. 1r times -1r is -1. 1r times -1 is -1r. These two boxes have to add up to your middle term. What's our middle term? Our middle term is 9r. These two boxes, they add up to 9r. So we know we got it right. We know the answer is 5r minus 1 times r plus 2. The thing about the guess and check method that people like is they can kind of like do math in their head a little bit easier than other people. It's a quicker way of solving it. This method over here, factor by grouping, works every single time. It requires a little bit more length. Okay, you might have to work a little bit harder if you do it this way over here, but both methods give you the same answer. Okay. Let's look at another problem. Okay. 3w squared plus 5w minus 2. Okay, so again, let me do this two ways. And you guys don't have to do it both ways, but I would suggest maybe doing it both ways, and then you guys can kind of choose which way you like, and then you could use that method. But it's always good to have two methods just in case one kind of you get confused, and you can fall back on the other one. Okay, the diamond method. The diamond method. The diamond method. 3 times -2 is -6. 5. Okay. Numbers multiply to get -6, add to get 5. Multiply -6 and add to get 5. It can't be 2 and 3. 2 and 3 multiply to get 6. It's got to be -1 and a +6. -1 and +6. They multiply to get -6 because one of them's negative, one's positive, and then they add to get +5. So we have to find these numbers here. Otherwise, we can't use this method. We can't do the diamond method because we can't fill out the diamond. Okay, so now we put 3w squared. I'm going to put minus w. I can put minus 1w if I want. Plus 6w, because I have to make this equal to plus 5w. This is equal to plus 5w minus 2. Okay, so you've made it into 4 terms. You factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first 2 and the last 2 together, which usually work. How do you know it works? Well, you only know it works when you take out the common factors. So common factors here is w, so this is 3w minus 1. And we better get a 3w minus 1 over here. I'm going to take out a 2 because 6 and 2, 2 goes into both. And then look what we have. We have 3w minus 1 again. We have 3w minus 1. So the correct factorization is 3w minus 1 times w plus 2. That's the answer you'd put in that box right there. Okay, the guess and check method. Guess and check method starts with the boxes, and you fill out the boxes. You fill out some of the boxes. 3w squared goes here. Negative 2 goes here. And then we fill out what we can. I mean, this is not a guess here. 3w squared, well, 3 is 1 times 3, because 3 is prime. And then w squared is 1w times 3w. If 3 was not a prime number, like if say 3 was, say that was a 4. If that was a 4, then it would really be a guess and check, because this could be a 2 and a 2, or this could be a 4 and a 1. So you get more choices there. But in this case, if this is prime, the guess and check method will work out pretty quickly. There's not too many numbers to multiply to get 2, right? One's got to be a 2, one's got to be a 1. Now, which one's a 2 and which one's a 1? 2 there, 1 there. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I know it's a 2. I know this is going to be a 2. And I know this is going to be a negative 1. And to check, you would go negative 1 times 1. So that's negative 1w, or negative w. And this is going to be 2 times 3w. That's going to be 6w. And these two have to add up to this number, 5w. And they add up to 5w. So your answer is w plus 2. That's this right here. And then 3w minus 1. Okay. All right. I like to keep these videos about a half hour long. I would, if I were you, either attend the Zoom session this morning or watch the video, because I'll be doing way more problems in Zoom. All right. I will be around tomorrow on Zoom as well for any questions. And good luck on the homeworks numbers 7, 8, and 9. And there'll also be a quiz at the end of this week. I think it was posted on Thursday. Due to the 4th of July holiday, everything's not due until the 5th of July. All right. Have a good day.